What's up, sluts? Today is day 68 of this bitch, and I kind of sick of doing it. Really? Yeah. Why? It sucks. Everything sucks. This is Coffee and Kabbalah and Coffee. It's the 15th of $1, 57.86. Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. So the fifth fucking day of this war. And I don't like war. Alright, folks. Elevate. Nobody really knows for sure. No one really knows for sure. Elevate. Elu divrei Elohim Chaim. No one really knows for sure. Elevate. Elu divrei Elohim Chaim. But this is the Mazor we live by. What's the first one? Sewers. Got 99 Ceresim, but a bitch ain't one. Chelazon Yerix Trunculus. That means that's that fucking snail. Sounds like a Pokemon Golus. That's a diaspora. Chabad is an abbreviation. Chachma, Bina, Da'at, wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Chalaf is knife. Shchita is slaughter. Shochet is slaughterer. Bidika is examination or inspection. Chalaf is the instrument of surgical sharpness used to perform shchita. Halakha, the body of Jewish law. Halakhic, in accordance with halakha. Kosher, correct, fit, appropriate. Nevela, an animal that was not slaughtered by shchita. Shchita is a Jewish religious humane method of slaughtering animals and poultry for food. Shochet, plural shoktim, the person who performs shchita, qualified by a thorough knowledge of Jewish law, animal anatomy, and pathology, and licensed by both religious and civic authorities. Torah, the source of all Jewish teaching and law, also referred to as the Law of Moses. Treifa, literally torn, generally used to denote non-kosher food. Za'ar ba'al lechaim, the Jewish teaching that cruelty to animals diminishes man's own ethical and moral standing, and that it is contrary to Jewish law to cause animals pain or distress. A shochet must be learned. Shochet must be learned in the laws of kosher slaughter, and adept at sharpening and polishing his knives, known as shtelen chalef in Yiddish. He also trains under an experienced shochet to learn how to hold the animal firmly, to slaughter it quickly and smoothly. Often, but not always, the shochet is also trained to be a bodek checker who examines the inner organs of the animal to ensure that it was healthy at the time of death. In the modern factory setup, these tasks are often divided. Ger, kaken often yam, lech is dayan, or pace in the ocean, safe and dignified. Public blessing. Here we go, folks. Bullshit. Why is this so fucking small? Why? Oh, it's this hand. Oh, that's why. May Hashem bless you and guard you. May Hashem shine his face upon you and be gracious to you. May Hashem lift his face to you and grant you peace. Dude, Lou died today. Baruch Dayan HaEmet. Blessed be the true judge. Akin ani medaber ivrit bekar ivrit makrai avshev. Bofwal anaknu amurim ledaber yidol. Ulai armit shegam otan ani yakol ledaber bamidar. Ledaber bamida mezuyamet. Aval ani ma'adif anglit. Lakin bo unedaber anglit. Zainishma tov lecha. Indeed, I speak Hebrew, and biblically, although in practice we are supposed to speak Yiddish from primary, which I can also speak to some extent, but I prefer English. Therefore, let's speak English. Does that sound good to you? Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Venismecha, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Venismecha. Hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena, venismecha. Hava nera nena, hava nera nena, hava nera nena, venismecha. Uru, uru achim, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim, urachim b'letzameach. Hey, hava, gila hava, nagila hava, nagila b'nismecha. Hava, nagila hava, nagila hava, nagila b'nismecha. Hava neranena, hava neranena, hava neranena, b'nismecha. Hava neranena, hava neranena, hava neranena, b'nismecha. Uru achim, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim b'letzameach, urachim. Urachim b'letzameach. Alright, summary in one flow. Death, soul separates. Gehinnom, purification, God, Eden. Initial spiritual reward, possible reincarnation, spiritual repair. Resurrection, body, soul reunited. Olam Haba, perfected, embodied, eternal world. The Rebbe the Chassid replied, to understand gems, you have to be a maven. And to understand neshamas, souls, you also have to be a maven, replied the Rebbe. Every neshama is a gem, for every person's soul is an actual part of God. 5 levels: nefesh, action, vitality, ruach, emotion, neshama, intellect, chaya, transcendent life force, yechida, absolute unity with God. For the Torah reading, Baraka Lifnei HaKaraya. Reader calls Baruch Atah, Baruch et Adonai Hamavarak. Congregation responds, Baruch Adonai Hamavarak Le'olam Va'ed. Person called the Torah repeats, Baruch Adonai Hamavarak Le'olam Va'ed. Blessing before the ring. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bechar banu mikol ha'amim ben natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'torah. After the Torah reading, Baraka la'achar hakaraya. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chaye olam nota botechenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah, Yore, he may teach Yadin Yadin, he may judge Yatir Korot, he may permit firstborns, Torah, Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Nevi'im, Yehoshua, Shoftim, Shmuel, Malachim, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings, Latter Prophets, Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, Yechezkel, Trei, Asar, Hosea, Yoel, Amos, Obadiah, Yonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi, Ketuvim, writings, Tehillim, Mishlei, Eo, Psalms, Proverbs, Job, the five Megillot, five scrolls, Shir HaShurim, Ruth, Ika, Kohelet, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Divrei HaYamim. Song of Songs, Ruth, Lamentations, Ecclesiastes, Esther, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Chronicles. Many contemporary Jewish communities have a special board to whom traveling collectors can present their bona fides, medical bills, letters from local rabbis in exchange for a letter of recommendation known as a hamlatza. A shadchan is a matchmaker who suggests prospective marriage mates and coaches them through the dating process. The term is linked to the word shuk, which means match. The technical meaning of the word of Aramaic provenance is actually to settle down, since the newly matched couple settles their differences before beginning their new life together. A shadchan can either be male or female, although a male matchmaker is more properly called a shadchanta in Yiddish and a shadchanet in Hebrew. The plural form is shadchanim. In Yiddish, to suggest a shidduch is to speak a shidduch. Shadchanos refers to both the act of matchmaking, so you say that a shadchan is in the business of shadchan, as well as the money traditionally given to the shadchan for his or her services, which would more accurately be referred to as shadchanos guilt, shadchanos money. Rabbi is a teacher that never ended. Musmach is a sovereign judicial authority that appears to have ended. Step 1, define what classical smicha actually did. In the Talmudic system, smicha granted authority to judge capital cases, authority to impose kanasot, authority to establish the calendar, membership in a Sanhedrin, jurisdiction rooted in Eretz Yisrael, land of Israel. Modern rabbis cannot execute, impose biblical fines, declare new months by testimony, recreate national sovereignty law. Musmach is formal judicial authority. Torah is multi-layered, peshat, simple meaning, remez, hint, dirash, homiletic, sod, secret, kavort, also spelled court, which refers to the basin of bowl used in Netilat Yadayim ritual, often paired with a cup of kli, negat raser. Kli rishon. The original pot or container placed directly on a heat source, food or liquid in this vessel is considered hot enough to continue cooking. Added ingredients, for instance, spices or salt, on Shabbat, which is prohibited. Kli shani, a vessel into which hot food or liquid has been poured from a kli rishon. It is significantly cooler and the risk of cooking is reduced. Kli shlishi, a vessel into which hot food or liquid has been transferred from a kli shani. It is even cooler and cooking is generally not a concern. While not the cup itself, the kavort is part of the hand washing set, especially in Ashkenazi tradition. Spodek, we're going to go into that. Today's hat day. We're going through hats. So yesterday was Zohar Chadash. Today is Ra'aya, Mahima, Faithful Shepherd. What day? Today's the 68th day of this bitch. Everything sucks. Error in message stream. Is there an outage or something? There is an outage. Alright. Well. Internet has too many fucking outages on the shit that I use. Yeah, okay, well, I might review this another time. Let's try. You know what doesn't have outages? Fucking Chabad's website for you. Alright, here we go. I'm Machai. Something so pleasurable. Could raise the dead. Halavai. Wait, I'm Machai. That's what Rebbikin says. After we strip Halavai, it's something, if only, I wish. That's what she says before. You cop. Yenta, that's a talkative bitch. It's kind of a fetish of mine. Tachlis, that's brass tacks, baby. Nosh means two. Snagging on pussy. Bashir, that's a soulmate. Bashir is a soulmate. Bashirta is a female soulmate. Bashirta is a male soulmate. Mishmash, that's a mixture. Bubkiss, that means beans or nothing. Good Yontif, happy holiday. L'chaim, to life. Parov. Good Yontif actually means good day. Parov means neutral. Glat means smooth. Kosher means fit. Mensch is a good dude. Mencha should be a thing. It should be a cool female. Aishat Khail and Seducus Freud. Those are good things. And then a ghetto could be a thing. Oive, oh fuck. Stettel, that's a town. Streimel, that's a hat. Shadel, that's a wig. Milkig, Fleischig, Parv. Milkig is meat. Fleischig is milk or dairy. Fleischig is meat. Par is neutral. Heimish, that's homie. Shmata, that means rags. Schwiger means mother-in-law. Chazir is pig. Hazar is a Chazar is to repeat. Schlep, carry a burden. Meshuggah, wild and crazy guys. Ganef is a thief. Yarmulka could be Aramaic for standing for Yachai. Yore Malka. Yare Malka. in awe of the king. Treif means torn, Yortzeit, death anniversary. Klutz means wooden block, clumsy. Niederlock means matzo ball. Spitz means a sweat. Schnorrer means a beggar. Schmutz means dirt. Schmooze means to gab, to talk positively about something, generally, uh, or not talk positively about something, but to do your best to get something out of someone by being positive. Benching, that's blessing. Mamzer, that's bastard. Shad Khan, that is a matchmaker. And Shidduch is a match. Fetch means the bitch. Shiva, that means that means seven. Means Maven means an expert. Maven means expert. Shanda, that is uh, a bad thing. Shanda is.
You can't get rid of me, bro. What are you reading? Come on, bro. Chill. I want to talk about crypto. Open mic, NFT, bro.
I'm talking about something else right now, so apologies to you, my man.
Who are you talking with?
I'm teaching a class, big dog.
What type of class?
Oh man, too many questions, big man. You'll figure it out. Shanda means shame. Chachki means like trinkets, simple pleasures, plots. Plots is today's word in Yiddish, so plots means to crack, burst, shatter, collapse, or explode. The most common English usage is a reference to a person who is bursting with emotion, either negative or positive. Thus, when you boiler plots is in a literal sense, you may plots in the figurative sense. But there's also plotzing to do like with something like fixing a boiler, plotzing from laughter when you discover that insurance will cover the boiler, and plotzing to share good news. The boiler was never broken in the first place. Plotzing to be placed. Incidentally, the same word is also a noun which means place. Although the words are identical in Yiddish, for whatever reason, English write exploding verb as plots and the ground noun as plots. The sages teach us that it's not the place or plots that defines the man, but the person who gives meaning and significance to his location. So if divine providence sent you to a specific plots, meaning place, that may not be to your liking, don't plots, don't burst. Instead, radiate so much goodness, warmth, and joy that the place begins to plots from goodness. So plots means to crack, burst, shatter, collapse, or explode. To that person who just came into our stream, apologies, big man, but we're in the middle of something, baby. All right. Now what? Guide to the mitzvot. Mezuzah.
Hi, welcome back to the deed. Today we'll be talking about the sacred deed or act of sanctifying one's home. The Torah tells us that when we own a home and have a place to call our own, we have a special mitzvah to sanctify that area by placing a scroll representing God's presence on the doorpost.
I play like a champion kid.
You shall write them upon your doorposts, and in your gateways. Our sages tell us that the tradition that was passed on from Moses at Sinai is that in every single entranceway or doorway into our dwelling places, we should write a specific portion of the Torah, and that must be written on a piece of parchment in a specially prescribed manner and placed in an exact area of the doorpost, and by doing so, we have God's protection. The mezuzah on the outside has the name of God, Shin Dalad Yud, which our sages tell us is an acronym for the words Shomer Daltot Yisrael, he who guards the doorways of Israel. And furthermore, we are told that the mezuzah not only offers protection for the home, but protection for the inhabitants, wherever they may be. The mezuzah has to be written by a sofer, a specially trained scribe, and you need to be careful where you purchase your mezuzah, because a mezuzah written by somebody who is not trained, or written for the wrong reasons, or using the wrong material, or God forbid printed, is simply not valid. The mezuzah not only must be crafted properly, but needs to be maintained. You see, all of its letters need to be intact. If a letter cracks or fades, the mezuzah is no longer kosher, and thereby no longer brings with it the presence of God and the spiritual protection that a mezuzah affords. And so, Jewish law tells us that mezuzot, those scrolls on your doorpost, should be checked a minimum of twice every 7 years. The case is not what it's about. It's about the guts, the inside. And a beautifully written parchment with no case is perfectly valid. And a case made of the finest gold and silver with nothing inside is absolutely worthless. The mitzvah of mezuzah must be observed by all Jewish people, regardless of gender or any area of the world that they live in. When we perform that mitzvah, it enables us to remember God on the way into the home and as we leave. Typically, mezuzahs are placed by most people on the front door. However, the halacha really tells us that when the Bible says, Al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha, it means on every single doorpost in the home. According to most halachic opinions, you need to have a door with hinges to be biblically obligated, but we follow the tradition where every single doorway that is fitting to be called a doorway would have a mezuzah. Whether there are hinges or not hinges, whether you do have a door or don't have a door, every single doorpost in a Jewish home should be graced with the presence of God as it is manifested with the mezuzah. The mezuzah is affixed on the right side of the entrance, and mezuzahs are supposed to be affixed in the top third of the door. Here you see in this door, it's just at the beginning of the top third, as is the mystical tradition. However, it is technically kosher if the mezuzah is anywhere from here within a hand's breadth of the top. So anywhere from here to here, one may place the mezuzah. The mezuzah, as I mentioned, is on the right of the entrance, and every door is both an entrance as well as an exit. So how do you decide? And there are many halachic considerations. The most important one, of course, is the hinges. We follow the way the hinges swing. And so in this case, the right side would be the entrance because this is a door that swings open. And every time we go into the room, we would kiss that mezuzah. On the way out, once again, we would place our hand in the mezuzah as a sign of reverence and kiss it.
Tight. Cool story, bro. I gotta take a whiz, son. BRB. All right. Oh, here we go. All right. Reina Mahemna, faithful shepherd, part of the Sefer Chazorah corpus, traditional speaker, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and companions, date 13th century, likely composed within the circle of Moshe Daily Rome. Outline of Raya Mahemna, meaning and identity of the work. Raya Mahemna literally means faithful shepherd, refers to Moshe Rabbeinu, who appears as a heavenly teacher. In the text, Moses descends from the upper worlds. He teaches mystical meanings of the commandments mitzvot. It is considered one of the most halachic mystical sections of the Zohar. Purpose to reveal the inner spiritual structure of a Torah commandments. And that person who came in who I was like muting and banning and stuff, I was just busy. Apologies, but you should see that hey, somebody's in the middle of something. Literary structure, but apologies. Literary structure. Raya Mahemna appears scattered within the Zohar, especially in Zohar on Book of Exodus, Zohar on Book of Leviticus, Zohar on Book of Numbers. It takes the form of dialogues, mystical teachings, explanations of commandments. Participants include Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, his disciple is the soul of Moses. Central theme, mystical meaning of mitzvot. The text explains why commandments exist in the cosmic sense. Main idea, every mitzvah prepares spiritual worlds. Concepts explained, commandments affect the sphirot. Actions on earth influence upper realms. Torah law mirrors divine structure. Example topics, tefillin, Shabbat, kashrut, prayer, ritual, purity. Moses as the faithful shepherd. Moses is portrayed as teacher of the inner Torah, guide of Israel's souls, mediator between worlds. Title explanation, faithful shepherd, faithful shepherd because he faithfully shepherds Israel and divine wisdom. In the narrative, Moses reveals secrets hidden even from earlier generations. Mystical halakha, Raya Mahemna links halakha and Kabbalah key teaching. The outer law is only the body. The mystical intention, kavana, is the soul. Example, concept, physical action plus spiritual intention repairs divine harmony. Cosmology and the sphirot, the commandments correspond to the 10th sphirot. Example, some mitzvot strengthen mercy, others repair judgment, some unite male and female aspects of the divine. Goal, restore cosmic unity. Messianic themes. The text frequently connects mitzvot with redemption idea. When Israel performs commandments with proper intention, it brings the Messianic era closer. This relates to Moses, the coming of Mashiach. Relationship to other Zohar sections. Raya Mahemna is closely related to Tikkunai HaZohar, Sefer HaZohar. Differences more legalistic, focuses specifically on commandments. Other Zohar sections focus more on cosmology, symbolism, biblical interpretation. Influence on later Kabbalah. Raya Mahemna strongly influenced Isaac Luria, Moshe Corvero. Its teaching shaped mystical interpretation of mitzvot, Kabbalistic prayer intentions. Many later Kabbalists saw it as a guide to spiritual practice. Scholarly perspective. Historians generally believe it was written by the same Zoharic circle in 13th century Spain, possibly later additions to the Zohar corpus. Characteristics supporting this: different writing style, heavy focus on commandments, later theological developments. In short, Raya Mehemna is the part of the Zohar where Moses returns as the mystical teacher to reveal the hidden spiritual power of the commandments, explaining how every mitzvah repairs and sustains the divine structure of the universe. Cool story, bro. Yo, dog, please list every kind of head covering that a Jew would ever wear. Everything from like a yarmulke, like the knitted kind, to the Jerusalem kippah, to and like have a female section that includes the shadel and like that one different group of Jews led by that lady who wear burqas, and the strimel for men, and what all the hats are made of. Sometimes it's rabbit, and like everything. All right, so we have male head coverings: kippah, yarmulke, uh, yarmulke, yarmulke. Why do you say that? Yarmulke, Hebrew kippah, Yiddish yarmulke. Small skull cap worn by Jewish men. Types: black velvet kippah, very common in Lithuanian and Yeshivish communities. Material: velvet exterior, satin lining. Okay. Knitted kippah, Hebrew kippah, saruga, worn by religious Zionists. Material: cotton yarn, wool, sometimes synthetic thread. Bulgarian kippah, worn by Jews of Central Asia. A large decorative cap. Material: silk, cotton, gold, thread, embroidery. Yemenite kippah, often smaller and flatter. Material: crocheted cotton. Breslov, white kippah, worn by followers of Nachman of Breslov. Material: cloth or velvet, often white. Hasidic hats, these are worn over the kippah. Black fedora, typical Hasidic yeshivish weekday hat. Material: felt, wool, felt, rabbit fur felt, common among Litvish Jews, many Hasidic groups. Hamburg hat, more formal version. Material: fur felt, rabbit or beaver felt, worn by some traditional rabbis, European style Orthodox Jews. Fur hats, Shabbat holiday, a shtreimel, Yiddish shtreimel, worn by married Hasidic men. Material: traditionally sable fur, fox, marten, Russian sable, sometimes synthetic today. Communities, many Hasidic dynasties. A spodik is a tall cylindrical fur hat worn by Ger Hasidic dynasty, Polish Hasidic groups. Material: fox fur, sable, synthetic fur today. A kolpik is a shorter fur hat worn by unmarried sons of Hasidic rebbes, young Hasidic men on Shabbat. Material: brown fur, often sable or fox. Unique Hasidic hats: a summit hat, velvet Hasidic hat. Material: velvet, wool base. Cossack style hat worn by certain Eastern European Hasidim. Material: fur, wool. Sephardic Middle Eastern head coverings: the fez, traditional red hat. Material: felt or wool, common historically in Ottoman Jewish communities. Turban, historically worn by rabbis in Arab lands. Material: cotton, linen, silk. That's baller. Yemenite Jewish headwear, a takia, small cap similar to Muslim caps. Material: cotton or wool. Women's head coverings: married Jewish women traditionally cover their hair. Tichel, Hebrew mitpachat, a wrapped scarf. Material: cotton, silk, linen, polyester. Popular in religious Zionist communities. A shadel, Yiddish shadel, a wig used as hair covering with human hair, synthetic fiber, common among Hasidic Haredi communities. Snood, hair net covering. Material: cotton, knit fabric. Hat covering: some women wear a regular hat instead of a scarf. Materials: felt, wool, straw. A spitzel, small partial wig worn under hat, used by some Hungarian Hasidic women. Material: human hair. Beckish style veil group. You mentioned the group led by a woman. Where's Beckish's? I meant Burkish. Burqa-like veil. Yeah. Material, cloth, black cloth, cotton, or polyester. Covers entire body, face sometimes. Historical head coverings, biblical head cloth, a sudar. Material, linen, wool. Mentioned in Talmud. Greek-style cap. Worn by Jews in Hellenistic times. Material, wood. Summary of materials used. Some Jewish head coverings have historically been made of natural materials: wool, cotton, linen, silk, velvet, rabbit fur, fox fur, sable, marten, beaver fur, human hair. Modern materials: polyester, acrylic, synthetic fur, synthetic hair. In short, Jewish head coverings range from simple knitted kippot to elaborate fur strimals, turbans, wigs, scarves, and full veils, reflecting religious law, community identity, and geography across the Jewish world. We're going to add this to this list. I should look each one of these up as well.
You asked for 1, the Hasidic hats by dynasty, 2, why the shtreimel became associated with marriage, and 3, which hats come from which regions. I'll break them down clearly. Number 1, major Hasidic hats by dynasty. Shtreimel, round fur hat, worn on Shabbat and holidays. Material, traditionally sable, also fox, marten, or synthetic fur. Groups that wear it: Satmar Hasidic dynasty, Belz Hasidic dynasty, Vishnitz Hasidic dynasty, Bobov Hasidic dynasty, Skver Hasidic dynasty. Characteristics: low and circular, wide ring of fur, spodic, tall fur. Material: fox fur, synthetic, worn mainly by Ger Hasidic dynasty, Alexander Hasidic dynasty, Amshinov Hasidic dynasty. Characteristics: very tall, cylindrical shape. Kolpik material, brown sable or fox, worn by sons of Rebbes, unmarried Hasidic men in some courts. Groups using it: Belz Hasidic dynasty, Vishnitz Hasidic dynasty. Tash, black fedora, weekday hat. Material: wool felt, rabbit fur felt, beaver felt. Common among Lithuanian yeshiva communities, some Hasidim. Example institutions: Ponevezh Yeshiva, Lakewood, Samet hat, velvet hat. Material: velvet, felt base, used by certain Hungarian Hasidic groups. Number 2, why the shtreimel is associated with marriage. There are 3 explanations. 1, social marker. In many Hasidic communities, unmarried men, regular hat. Married men, shtri. This visually indicates marital status. 2, Shabbat royal clothing. Hasidic thought emphasizes Shabbat with spiritual royalty. A shtreimel was considered luxurious clothing symbolizing honor for Shabbat. 3, historical legend. A famous folk story claims European rulers forced Jews to wear animal tails on their hats to humiliate them. Hasidim allegedly turned the symbol into a badge of holiness. Historians think this story is probably apocryphal, but it circulates widely. Number 3, hats by Jewish geographic origin. Polish Hasidic communities. Typical hats: Spodik, tall fur hats. Example dynasties: Ger Hasidic dynasty, Alexander Hasidic dynasty. Reason: Polish aristocrats wore similar tall fur hats. Hungarian Galician Hasidim. Typical hats: Stremol group, Satmar Hasidic dynasty, Bogov Hasidic dynasty, Vishnitz Hasidic dynasty. Lithuanian Litvish Jews. Typical headwear: black fedora, black velvet kippah. Community centered around yeshivot, like Ponevesh Yeshiva. Sephardic Jews. Common traditional headwear: fez, turban, soft skull caps. Common in Ottoman Empire, North Africa, Middle East. Yemenite Jews. Typical headwear: embroidered caps, turbans. Material: cotton, silk embroidery. Number 4, fur, used in Hasidic hats. Traditional strymals often use Russian sable, fox fur, marten, beaver. A real sable strymal can cost $5,000 to $15. Today, many use synthetic fur. Number 5, the most unusual Jewish head coverings. Some of the rare ones include Jerusalem Yerushalmi hat, wide flat brim, worn by Jerusalem Hasidim. Bukharian cap, square embroidered cap. Sudra, ancient rabbinic head wrap, mentioned in the Talmud. Summary: Jewish head coverings vary widely depending on region: Poland, Hungary, Yemen, etc. Marital status, religious movement, historical fashion. They range from simple crocheted kippah to elaborate sable stramals costing thousands of dollars. If you want, I can also show you something fascinating. The 12 strangest Jewish hats ever worn in history, including a 400-year-old Italian rabbinic hat and a giant Yemenite wedding headdress.
Is it yeah, can you include pictures of each? Is that possible? It should be. That should be like really fucking easy. Oh yeah, cool. No, not cool. Yeah, give me a huge chart, but I want pictures of all of them. No. No. Kolpik. Strymel. Oh, okay. So we just need this fucking website. Wait. This is okay. So let's just show the pictures right now, like fucking Mr. Rogers. Jewish headgear. Alright. Too fast. Don't worry, we'll go much slower. Female shit. Dude, there's a lot of them. What did your grandparents wear? Have a great grandparents. I don't know. Hat. Really? Yeah, I don't really know. My grandparents, I think one side I never met, but I would say a hat, like hats, which were more common for the time. And then on my mom's side, my grandmother would wear, I think you could consider it a shadle, like always wore a hat. Really? I mean, not like. There's the argument that if you're inside, you don't have to wear a hat. That's from Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. But when he was outside, he always wore a hat. Whether it was like what do you call it, flat brim hat, or just a cap. Really, yeah. Yo, dog, how do you know the difference between the Haredi burqa sect and like the Arabian one or like the Muslim one? They have like a jersey number or something. Like, well, we're wearing dark uniforms today, or well, how's that work? Not Haiti. This shit sucks. Yo, dog, how do you tell the difference between an Islam burqa and a Haredi burqa? Is there anything on the outset that you can tell the difference, or does it just look like a woman in a burqa? Yeah, love Tahor. Okay, so left Tahor is often partially visible. Islamic is covered with a mesh screen. Structure is a single garment. Left Tahor is multiple layers. Color often blue or black. Left Tahor is almost always black. Eyes seen through the mesh panel. Left Tahor is seen normally face uncovered. Cultural context. So, quick rule of thumb: mesh over the eyes is a burqa. Layers of black robes and scarves is left Tahor. Yeah, tell me that fucking story. Started in 2008. Now we're studying it. Can't believe it's 2026. Like more than half of this decade is over, and it still feels like 2020. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure there are some people who will never come out of the pandemic funk or whatever the fuck that was. Are you one of them, baby? I've exploded. Like, lots.
You're probably referring to the Jewish birth sect in Israel,
Yeah,
which became widely discussed around 2008. The media often called them the Taliban women, not a name they use themselves. The movement was led by Bruria, the Jewish Burqa sect in Israel. Leader, Bruria Keren, Israeli woman who promoted an extreme interpretation of modesty, snoot, modesty. Location, mostly in Beit Shemesh, Jerusalem, what they wore. Their clothing was inspired by the idea that even normal Orthodox modesty wasn't strict enough. Women wore full black cloaks, multiple layers of dresses, face veils, head coverings under the veil, gloves and socks. Some outfits covered everything except the eyes, making them resemble a burqa. Their ideology, they believed standard Haredi modesty laws were too lenient. Women should hide the entire body shape. Men should never see a woman's face. They claimed this was the true Torah modesty standard, though almost all rabbis rejected this. Rabbinic response. Major ultra-Orthodox communities condemned it. Rabbis from groups like Edah HaCharedis, Satmar Hasidic dynasty said it was not authentic Jewish tradition, psychologically harmful, a distortion of halacha. Legal controversy. In 2015, Bruria Keren was convicted in Israel for child abuse, assault of minors. She received a prison sentence. How big was the group? Very small. Estimates were only 20 to 50 families at its peak. Most Orthodox Jews in Israel considered it fringe or cult-like. Key takeaway, the Jewish Burqa women were not a recognized Jewish sect like Satmar Hasidic dynasty or Chabad Lubavitch. It was a small radical modesty movement centered around Bruria Keren. If you want, I can also show you something fascinating. The 10 to 12 different traditional Jewish women's head coverings, tichel, sheitel, snooj, dentichel, etc., with pictures and what communities wear each one.
Yeah, that's cool. What are your thoughts? Doug, I think you could be able to wear. Could you wear a burqa? And could I wear? I could wear the fuck I want. I think a woman should be able to wear the fuck you want. But if you want to wear a burqa, I think it'd be cool to wear one of those fucking visors so you look like Darth Vader. But she's just got a banging body under that motherfucker. What would you want your wife to wear? Now, that's a good question. I would want her to wear a shadel. Really? Yeah. But she can wear whatever she wants. But some shadels are beautiful. Which kind of goes against why you wear them. But nevertheless. If she wanted to wear a burqa, would you let her? Only if she wears one of those fucking Darth Vader masks. You're gonna go big. Go all the way.
The major traditional Jewish women's head coverings used across different Jewish communities, with pictures so you can recognize them. Number 1, tichel, mitpachat, headscarf. A tichel, Yiddish, or mitpachat, Hebrew, is the most common head covering among modern Orthodox and religious Zionist women. Features: scarf wrapped around the hair, many tying styles, covers hair but usually not the neck. Materials: cotton, linen, silk, polyester. Sheitel. A sheitel is a wig worn by married Orthodox women, used especially in communities like Satmar Hasidic dynasty, Belz Hasidic dynasty, Chabad Lubavitch. Materials: human hair, synthetic fiber. Some women wear a hat or scarf over the wig. Snood.
I think that's
A
preferred.
snood is a cloth pouch that holds the hair. Features: casual style, hair gathered inside a knit bag. popular for everyday use. Materials: knit cotton, wool, stretch fabric. Number 4, Sterntischel, layered scarf. A Sterntischel is worn mostly by Hungarian Hasidic communities. Features 2 layers of cloth, very tight covering, often paired with a small wig underneath. Seen in groups like Satmar Hasidic dynasty. Number 5, hat over shaitel. Many Orthodox women wear wig underneath, hat on top. Reasons:
I like
extra
that.
modesty, fashion style, community custom. Number 6, full veil, extremist sect example. Worn by women in the sect, Lev Tahor. This is not normal Orthodox practice. Features black cloaks, face coverings, multiple layers. Quick comparison chart: head covering, who wears it? Tail, tickle, modern Orthodox, scarf, wrap, Haredi Hasidic, wig, snood, casual Orthodox, hair pouch, Sterntichel.
What about that Abu Ghraib look with the fucking black Ku Klux Klan hat? Some bitch wanted to wear that. She could wear that. Why? Wear what you want to wear. So you would have some ladies who would be wearing Darth Vader masks and other ones who look like black Ku Klux Klan members. If you want.
Fascinating chart of 18 to 20 different Hasidic men's hats, because you can literally tell what Hasidic group someone belongs to just from the shape of their hat.
Yeah, we'll go through that.
It's like a taxonomy.
It is like a taxonomy. I remember when I started wearing a. Oh, if you want to hear my story, I've been in communities where, like Chabad, where a lot of people wear black hat. Well, a lot of people just wear kippot, and I've been in communities where no one wears a black hat. They're modern Orthodox, and then to be the one person who comes in with a black hat, the anxiety. You're sitting there thinking everybody's looking at you like you're trying to one up everybody, but it's just it became second nature. But it was, and then some fucking breast lovers would come in on Shabbat and be like, "Damn, you fucking come out of the Talmud like with their shtreimels and all that shit." It just depends. I've seen it all. In a Chabad, you'll get everything. You get people in shorts, which you don't normally. I mean, it's not normally a thing for shul, though I've seen people in sandals, like tracksuits, which I kind of like that look. Like fucking Russian dudes. You'll see people in full suits. You'll see people, and everybody's just davening. But it's weird. It's like there's no I mean, you go to some places and there's commonality, but other times, like if you're in a yeshiva, everybody's wearing white shirts and like dark pants. Like that's. I've been in situations with that where around all men, white suits, black pants, or dark pants, and that's cool. It's just very. I don't know. I'd get people who would stop me going to the store asking me all kinds of questions about how I dress. And I'd just be like, whatever. I really like to dress with a like an overcoat, a peacoat. I like peacoats. I'm a big peacoat fan. But even just like an overcoat. And I have this London fog kind of design, kind of like trench coat. We got black trench coats. Just it rarely rains, but when it does, make my own mafia. Right, are you done? Hey mafia, you done? Kosher mafia, the kosher nostra. You're fired. Go fuck yourself.
reach was for India. Okay.